Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about how much money do you need to start trading stocks. So full disclosure, I am not in favor of trading stocks, so I'm going to give you my personal opinion of what's best, advantages and disadvantages, okay? But I also wanted to share some of the reasons why other markets are better as well. So first thing, if you guys have any questions, don't forget to mark them with the hashtag AskMarcello, no H, 2 L's. I'll be happy to go ahead and pull all your questions for you, and don't forget to subscribe here to the channel to go ahead and answer all your questions. Obviously, I love to interact with you guys and answer all of your questions, so it'd be my pleasure to share with you my experience in this industry for about 15 years, whether it's actually trading, teaching, or learning how to trade, right? That's how much time I've actually been in this industry. So let's go ahead and get started. There's a fundamental flaw in trading stocks, okay? I think that most of you watching this video, if you're thinking about day trading or the financial markets, you're obviously in this to make money, right? But one thing I want to hone in on, and it's something that I focused on a lot in a lot of the recent videos that I've done, is that you shouldn't focus so much on the money that you make as much as it is about consistency, okay? So obviously, there is always going to be a minimum requirement in order to make money, but if you're making the right decisions, it doesn't matter how much you're trading with, you should make money, because if you make the right decisions, then the money will just come. So one of the things I do want to just throw out there, because most of you guys that are going to watch this video are probably researching, looking into, learning how to trade, and you should focus more on the psychological aspect of trading rather than the actual amount of money you can make, and I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. Most of the times, in order to open up an account when it comes to trading stocks, it's going to be about $500. Okay, there's a very big flaw when it comes to trading stocks, because there's something called the pattern day trading rule, which basically means that if you are going to day trade them, which basically means getting in and getting out the same day, you have to have a minimum of $25,000 in your account to day trade stocks. That's just a regulation that the beautiful government that always passes regulations that we need made. So keep that in mind. If you have less money, you can still make a living or make money trading depending on the strategy that you use, okay? But it may be a little bit more difficult because of that rule. So if you don't have a lot of money, or you don't have a lot of capital to invest, right, then it's going to be difficult for you to make big returns unless you have a really big account. That's one of the fundamental flaws, in my opinion, with trading stocks, because you need, I keep messing with this chair, because you need really a lot of capital to make a lot of money, unless you're going to leverage yourself, which basically means borrowing money from somebody else, paying interest on that loan, and then putting that money into the positions that you're going to make in the stock market. So an absolute minimum, obviously you're going to need an account to be open, which is a minimum of $500. You're going to need a laptop, something like this beautiful bad boy here. You don't need something fancy like this. This is an Alienware, which is a Dell gaming laptop. But anything, $800, standard $700 computer, I think will be more than fine. And other than that, you just need an internet connection. Now, after you really get those three things, the requirement really becomes the amount of capital. And so in order to open up an account minimum for stocks, it's going to be $500. For other markets that I would actually recommend, like futures, where you can make more with less, it's a minimum of about $1,000. And let me just explain to you how this works. So in stocks, if you invest $1, let's say you buy a share of stock, if it goes up $1, you make $1. If you buy 2 shares of stock, if it goes up $1, you make $2. And of course, you can leverage yourself by borrowing money and paying interest on it. Obviously, if you lose that money, it's a loan, you have to pay it back. In futures, it works a little bit differently. And obviously, full disclosure with you guys, obviously I'm for futures. I've been in this industry now for about 16 years, I think, as I mentioned, or 15 years, going on 16, whether it's either learning for a certain period of time, few years, or it was trading or teaching. So I believe that you can make a lot more with less when it comes to futures. First and foremost, you don't need a $25,000 account to day trade. And with stocks, it takes a lot of time to research. It takes a lot of time to look for the stocks that you're going to trade, because you can't trade all the same stocks every day. Whereas with the futures market, you can literally trade the same market every day, a quick 2-3 minute market analysis, and you jump right in with your minimum $1,000. Now, with the amount of money, those are the minimums, obviously, right? I'm gonna actually talk about what I recommend. With stocks, I would say with any market, one of the things that you want to make sure that you understand is what I mentioned a moment ago about the psychology. If you have a very small account and you lose a little bit, you're going to be afraid to keep losing. So it's a mental game, right? Trading is 85-90% technical, 85-90% psychological, 10-15% technical. So if you think about it, yeah, you can do it with the minimum. I've seen it done before, but it's a lot harder. So it would be better for you to pool more resources or have a little bit more money to make sure that you are able to get that kind of monkey or that weight off your back. That you have to understand that you're going to lose a little bit of money. For some of us, it's going to lose a lot of money. Losing is part of the game, so you want to make sure that you give yourself enough of a cushion to allow yourself to lose a little bit of money and then not freak out, right? Because if you freak out, you want to make sure that you still have enough money in the bank account that you can still trade with without feeling uncomfortable, because that really is the name of the game. Can you start trading with $10 or $100? Yeah, absolutely, but it's really not recommended, because obviously when it comes to day trading, it is risky. When you first learn, you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing or you don't do the right things. So it's important to really understand that it is in a situation where you can make a lot of money. I'm sure most of you guys are watching this because you want to make money, you want to get out of your jobs, you want to have financial freedom, you don't want to sit an hour and a half in rush hour there and back every single day. I was in the same situation years ago. I took out $25,000 in student loans. I lost it in a month. So I did what any responsible man would do, is I went out and I took out more loans. So I definitely have been in that situation where I didn't have the money to start this, but for me, there wasn't really any options, right? This is the only option that I wanted to do, because for me, day trading is really the only profession, the only career in the world that you can really do well, obviously, right? You can lose money. It's something that you should consider, because you shouldn't mortgage your house just to learn how to day trade, because you can lose all your money, even more than what you put in your account. So keep that in mind. But it is something that you can do quite well in. And I really do believe that it's something that anybody can learn. But the question is, do you want to sacrifice what you have to in order to actually learn how to be able to trade? And most people, they're not going to want to sacrifice what they need to in order to really learn how to trade. And this is, social life, girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, right? The late nights, going out drinking, going out partying, your cafes every morning, all these little things are really what you're going to sacrifice. In terms of anything else of the money you need to be able to start trading stocks, as I mentioned, for me, it's not that I'm against stocks because I trade them, but I think when you're new, you want to make sure that you can practice. And I want to make sure that whenever I teach traders, for example, that they focus 100% on the market and nothing else. No studies, no reading reports, no doing screening to find the right stocks to trade, none of that. So if you are thinking about learning how to trade, consider that. You don't need a lot of money to start with, but I would recommend that you have a little bit of a cushion, because if you don't have a cushion, then you're going to get nervous when you lose a little bit of money, and that's going to affect your decisions, because it's a psychological spiral that once you come down, it's very hard to get up and to recover from. Other than that, you need to look for somebody to teach you, or you can learn on your own. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and let you know you have to spend $20,000 to learn how to trade, because you really can't do it on your own. But obviously it's a time factor, right? If you don't have a lot of money and you want to learn on your own, there's a lot of resources online, but unfortunately there's a lot of resources that may not be trustworthy, or you don't necessarily know that you can use. So that's really what's going to come down to, the time factor. So can you go out and pay somebody 10, 20 grand to learn how to trade? Absolutely. Is that going to guarantee you that you're going to learn how to trade? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, day trading is a personal endeavor, right? You're the one that has to make the decision at the end of the day, right? Nobody's going to make that decision for you unless you give your money to someone to manage, who's licensed and regulated by the CFTC and SEC and all these 3-letter syllable government agencies that cover all the regulations in that game. So just keep that in mind. I think those are all the things that you pretty much need to cover. I believe I covered everything. If anything comes up on my mind, I'll go ahead and shout it out. But leave me any questions. #AskMarcello. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon.